And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with your host, Susie Ross.
Hello, I'm Susie Ross. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. This week, we're taking a look at some of the educational stories brought to us by Fort Dodge Animal Health. Let's take a look. As input costs continue to rise, it's important for beef producers to look at ways to keep costs down. It's an important principle to apply when working to get more value from calves on your operation. Cattlemen to Cattlemen's Todd McCartney had the chance to learn more at Dickson County Feeders in Nebraska.
Fall is the season when many producers wean their calves and prepare them for sale, a transaction that takes those animals from the pasture and on up the industry chain. Most will end up here at feed yards like this, on their way to becoming steaks, roasts, and burgers for beef eaters around the world. Now, you're in the cattle business, but you're also in the business of raising and marketing beef. And because it is a business, you should be selling a product that meets your customers' needs and at the same time generating profits back to your business. So whether you're a cow-calf producer or a feedlot operator, you're always looking for ways to improve profits for your operation. We'll take a look at several of those ways on today's program. While in Allen, Nebraska, I caught up with Dr. Terry Mader at the Dickson County Feed Yard. No doubt Terry knows quite a bit about adding value to cattle. Terry, as you work with producers across the state of Nebraska, what are some of the top-of-mind questions that they bring to you?
Well, Todd, what the producers are really wanting to know is how can they generate more revenue and more profit in their cattle operation. So some of the questions that I get on a pretty regular basis is, should I precondition my calves? Does that pay? Should I look at other marketing alternatives, such as some of the premium-based alliances like all-natural organic beef production systems? And another one that fits into that framework is, should I use growth promotants in my cattle production system?
Okay, then let's talk about some of those practical ways. First, the preconditioned or the value-added calf. How does that fit into it?
Well, a preconditioned calf is one that's prepared to go into a feedlot from a health and well-being standpoint. These programs are really designed to allow cattle to achieve optimum performance by minimizing that weaning stress as they go into the feed yard. Local vets and the university personnel can certainly help us put together these programs and design them and tailor them to the producer's needs. But some of the basic requirements of a preconditioning program include dehorning, castrating, vaccinating for BRSV, IBR, BVD, and the Clostridials, as well as Pastorella and PI3. Preconditioned calves also need to be bunk broke, and it'd be good if they are exposed to some type of water that they would see in the feed yard. So the other thing that becomes important is that the producer needs to keep good records relative to that preconditioning program. Good if the veterinarian can verify them. And some of our data on that is showing that these preconditioned calves can receive premiums of $3 to $5 at weaning time. And this is shown at some of our sale barns, local market auctions, and also the Superior Livestock Market Association is also showing that. And what this does is these calves, they experience fewer health problems, lower treatment costs, less death loss, and the data is showing that they'll yield heavier and higher quality carcasses. And this is based upon some of the original VAC 45 programs that were instituted several years ago.
When we return, we'll learn more of Dr. Mader's tips. Stay with us.
Keeping your herd healthy means more than protecting your bottom line. It means having pride in what you do. That's why Fort Dodge Animal Health has developed Pyramid 5 and Pyramid 10 with Metastem that provide broad BVD type 1 and 2 protection in combination with IBR, BRSV, and PI3 in Pyramid 5. Plus, protection against 5 strains of lepto with Pyramid 10. At Fort Dodge, we'll take care of protecting your herd so you'll have time for the really important things.
Welcome back. Let's head back to Nebraska, where reporter Todd McCartney is learning how to get the most value from calves.
Well, it's pretty clear that the preconditioned calf and the value-added sales make sense toward profitability. Let's look at the all-natural calf for the sector that's going to that route.
Well, that type of program has some unique opportunities for those individuals who may have limited facilities or just choose not to use growth promotants. And so what I call all natural, there's also pretty close to hormone-free type beef production. And so in those systems, those cattle do merit premiums. Usually your cost of production can be a little bit higher simply because you aren't taking advantage of the growth enhancement from those hormones or implants. And so when we get into production cost, they'll actually be 15 to 20% higher in the feed yard, so, and therefore you need to merit a $5 to $6 a hundredweight premium. Now that's a little bit different than an organic beef production system, because in an organic beef production system, it's all of the all-natural program, plus you need to be able to supply to those cattle organic feeds. So in that system, you have a higher cost of production yet. Also, because of the increased feed costs and not using the growth enhancement opportunities that are available, you need probably somewhere in excess of a 30% premium at the final marketplace to capture the returns to offset those that you don't get from using those other products.
So the all-natural and the organic do have opportunities, but they're not fit for everyone. Maybe the route of an implant or growth promoting, would that fit a larger group?
Well, for the most part, we only see 4 to 5% of the cattle that are marketed are all natural or organic. So therefore, 95% are still traditional, kind of commercially produced cattle.
Doctor, how do you answer the question then when producers say, I'm concerned about the safety of the beef products coming from implanted cattle?
Well, if you look at the data that the FDA has access to and oversight of, we can't find any difference in hormone or implanted beef and non-implanted beef. Tissue samples, basically, when you look at the analysis, are the same. These are very stringent guidelines that the FDA has in the evaluation of these products. So some of the hormone-free groups have claims that their beef is better because it's hormone-free. This is not so by any means, simply because you haven't implanted. And so the cattle that are receiving these products, they're safe for the consumer, safe for the people who are raising them, and safe for the environment.
Well, Doctor, you've covered a lot, so let's go ahead and just recap those practical ways we can bring value to our calf crop.
Okay, Todd, preconditioning pays. Utilization of growth promotants is profitable to livestock production systems. The utilization of premium-based alliance programs such as all-natural or organic beef production systems is useful in the livestock industry as long as the premiums that we receive offset the extra cost associated with that production system.
That's good information. Thank you, Dr. Mader, for your time. Now back to you, Susie.
For more information, you can head to our website at cattlemen2cattlemen.org. We'll be right back.
Patience may be a virtue, but when cattle are down with shipping fever, you don't have time to be patient. And that's why Baytril 100 was designed specifically for first-line treatment of bovine respiratory disease. For use by or on the order of a licensed veterinarian. Extra label use in food-producing animals is prohibited. Ask your veterinarian for more information. When it's BRD, patience isn't an option. Choose Baytril 100, right the first time.
2 100% pure USDA inspected patties are only the beginning of what make the Big Mac famous, and that's what we're made of.
Welcome back to Cattlemen to Cattlemen. A value-added marketing program is an important addition to any operation. Cattlemen to Cattlemen's Jim Witt headed to Joplin, Missouri to learn more.
We're at Joplin Regional Stockyards, and I'm talking to Mark Harmon. Mark, we were visiting a little earlier, and you said that producers got to have a value-added marketing system to be successful.
I think that's probably true. You know, A lot of folks just choose to sell their cattle, whenever they need funds or need financing. But if more people would look at getting in some kind of a value-added system, whether it be on the cattle they sell on a Monday or the cattle they sell through a marketing value-added system, it can, enhance the price of their cattle a little bit. If you just do a little bit of work at home, that makes the next buyer of that calf more interested in it.
Preconditioning plays a big role in those value-added sales. Tell us about the preconditioning program that producers have to participate in.
It plays a huge role in our sales on Thursday, and those sales run from October till May. The calves need to be weaned 45 days. They need to have 2 rounds of shots. They need to be bump broke, tank broke. You can also sell those cattle with 1 round of shots right off the cow, because at least you've done a little bit of the work for the buyer. And then we keep those things segregated. We show all that information in the ring when we sell them, and it's an easy transition for the producer, because some people do have the ability to get them up, give them 1 round of shots, and catch them today and sell them off the cow. But for your other producers, they'll get them up, work them, wean them, put some weight on them, and they'll make their money off the cost of gain.
Mark, value-added marketing strategies aren't just for big producers, are they?
Oh no, these things are for everybody.
What are some of the options producers have?
There's just so many to pick from. You have your breed associations, you have your pharmaceutical companies, you have your state cattlemen's associations, and you have livestock auctions like this that present programs to the producers. So there's one to fit everyone, and it doesn't matter whether you're running. We do age and source program for people that got 10 cows, because they want to get their cattle in a marketing system of that nature. And we have guys that have 12 or 1,500 cows. So it doesn't matter what size you are. If you're dealing with a market facility that cares about what you're doing, they're going to help you find a way to enhance your product.
Well, and I guess that you have more and more cattle that come through your value-added sales, so the payback must be there.
I think so. You can get into a bad market anytime by accident, not planning. It's something that we generally can't control here at Joplin that causes it for it to be a bad market. But on any given day, the main thing with livestock is health is everything. I don't care how many tags he has in his ears, how well he's bred. If he doesn't live, he's not worth anything.
I'm in Northwest Missouri with Pete Metz and John Osborne, and they have a unique take on preconditioning. John, you exclusively buy preconditioned calves. Tell me why.
Yes, I do. I mainly buy preconditioned calves for the fact of the sickness. I don't like doctoring calves, and if you have them preconditioned, you seem to have a lot less problems.
Every time you doctor a calf, what do you figure that costs you?
It costs anywhere from $20 to $50 every time you run one through the chute.
So preconditioned calves pay their way here,
yes,
don't
they do.
And you buy those calves from Pete, or a lot of them, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Pete, tell me a little bit about how you started preconditioning your calves and why.
The reason I started was because the market dictated that if you're going to get top money out of your calves, that you're going to have them pre-vacced. So I started pre-vaccing probably 15 to 16 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So and since then I've started selling calves to John because they fit his program.
There's a lot of people that are out there listening to us and watching this, and they say, I don't know if I really want to spend the money to precondition calves. What would you say the bottom line benefit would be, Pete, from your perspective?
Well, from the perspective here at John's, because we're finishing all these cattle out and putting these cattle all on the grid, they say sick cattle won't make the grid. I mean, they don't grade choice. They grade more than select, and we have very few cattle that ever grade below choice. So I think the program is really working in that aspect.
You're both cow-calf producers, and you sell females to some of your neighbors, is that right?
Yes, it is.
And then what happens to those calves?
We sell the cows to the neighbors around, and then I've kind of got a contract that I get to buy the calves back if they're all preconditioned the way we want them.
So if they don't precondition according to your program, it's no deal, is that right?
Pretty well.
Okay. Pete, why don't you tell us specifically about your preconditioning process?
Approximately 3 weeks before we wean, I go in and give a modified live and also pastorella, blackleg, and somnus to these calves, and then they're kicked back out for the cows for about 3 weeks. And in the last 2 years, we've changed over and started using modified live on the cows also, so we can also do this process without harming the next year's calf crop. Then in 3 weeks, the calves are weaned, and I bring them to John.
Okay, John, tell us what you do with those calves when you get them in here at the lot.
Okay, the day the calves come in, we run them through the chute, give them all their booster shots, worm and pour them. Then we turn them out in the lot that's a fresh, clean lot with fresh water, and we hand feed the calves the first 3 or 4 days. We start them out the first day with hay, and then the next day we'll give them hay and grain to get them started, make sure everybody's eating well.
Now you're taking these cattle from conception to the packer. So what do you think the bottom line benefit of preconditioning these calves are to your program?
Well, the bottom line is you can get these calves sold for top of the market because he's going to keep coming back for more calves year after year if they don't get sick on him.
From a feeder's perspective, John, what's the bottom line benefit to you?
I think the bottom line for me is that if you get them preconditioned and you do it as soon as you've got them, they'll keep gaining and they won't back off feed at all, and you'll get a better gain all the way to market.
Okay. Pete, John, we appreciate you taking time to visit with us today. I'm with Steve Houston, who feeds cattle with John Osborne on a retained ownership program. Now, Steve, you're not only a cow-calf producer, but you're a banker. Can you give us a dollar figure on what preconditioning brings to a producer?
Probably the preconditioned cattle not only are benefit as we're seeing through the sale barns and selling these cattle off the farm, but the economical benefit is the guys that purchase them or that retain them with limited cattle that get sick. That's dollars and cents to them, and you know, bottom line, where margins are tight anymore, so they're looking for every dollar that they can make on these cattle.
I'm with Dr. Doug Johnson, a veterinarian who works with both Pete Mitz and John Osborne. What do you tell a producer that says preconditioning just costs too much?
Yeah, you hear a lot of that, and in all honesty, most people don't put a pencil to it. They come in and they'll price a set of vaccinations for calves, and they'll say, oh, well, that's going to cost $9, $10 a head, and they're worried about the $9 or $10. But what they're really not understanding is if they don't vaccinate those calves properly and get them on feed, that it will cost them a lot more than the $9 or $10 a head in gains that they won't receive, or in sick cattle when they start doctoring them. If they have to doctor one of those calves that they didn't vaccinate properly, and it costs them we've heard $20 to $50, and that's not uncommon. It paid for several vaccinations for several head, at that price.
So preconditioning is a good return on their investment?
Preconditioning is probably the best return on investment they're going to have.
You can learn more about the Beef Quality Assurance Program by heading to the website bqa.org. We'll be right back.
Purina's wind and rain minerals are research tested and field proven to provide balanced mineral nutrition essential for cattle health, growth, and reproduction. They're highly palatable so cattle consume what they need when they need it. And wind and rain minerals special formulation resists the elements so they won't blow out of the feeder and maintain their palatability even if they've been wet. Wind and rain cattle minerals from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
Our quarter pounder with cheese is made from 100% pure USDA beef. That means there's 0% anything else. That's what we're made of.
Welcome back to Cattlemen to Cattlemen. It's a problem that could have a major long-term impact on the cattle industry. The number of students studying to become large animal veterinarians is shrinking. But as we found out at a visit to the Kansas State Veterinary School, it's a problem both the school and a major animal health company are working to fix.
And there's a critical need for the education of veterinarians and recruitment of veterinarians into rural practice in the United States.
At Kansas State University, veterinary students get hands-on practice working with the animals they'll treat out in the field. K-State is home to one of the country's top veterinary schools. Professors there say they're working to face the nationwide large animal vet shortage head-on.
Now's a time of great change in large animal practice in the United States, and Kansas State University is at the forefront of that change in that at this college we are deeply investing in a program to support the education of rural practitioners who will be doing food animal as a significant portion of their practice. The reason we're doing this is in response to a national shortage of veterinarians in the United States.
One reason for that national shortage, a common misconception that being a large animal vet just doesn't pay as well as working in companion animal medicine.
There have been a number of surveys that have looked at salary and compensation for veterinarians. And there's a couple of things that I really like to encourage students about is for within the agricultural community, being a large animal veterinarian is a good agricultural job. It pays well and you get to live in a rural area. When we compare food animal and rural veterinarians with companion animal veterinarians in urban settings, again, the salaries are very comparable and very, very good. I think it's a little bit of a myth or a misinterpretation to say that food animal veterinarians earn less than companion animal. That's not really what our survey data shows us.
Students agree.
I think a lot of it stems from, well, when we got into school here, there was a stigma around that if you were going to be a large animal veterinarian, you were going to work lots of hours and not make much money. And from what I've seen, the practices I've been to, that's not really true, but I think that's where a lot of it comes from.
Other K-State students say the shortage may be due to a real demographic shift.
The reason I think that there's a lack in large animal veterinary students is because not very many kids are brought up in the agricultural background anymore. There's more urban backgrounds, and so they don't feel as comfortable working on large animals because they haven't had the experience of working with them.
Another reason for the shortage? The high cost of earning an undergraduate degree and then enrolling in a 4-year veterinary program.
Now, certainly today is a very challenging time for students because the cost of veterinary school has an 8-year program with a 3 to 4 year pre-veterinary school program, a 4-year veterinary school program, and sometimes 3 to 4 years of postgraduate training if a student desires specialization. It's a very challenging environment because they can accrue debts of $80,000 to $150,000. So scholarships such as the one that Fort Dodge has devised are very important to give students more leeway in career choices.
But that's where Fort Dodge Animal Health comes in.
Well, Fort Dodge believes that education is the key to reversing that trend. And accordingly, in that vein, Fort Dodge has partnered, or teamed if you will, with the National Cattlemen's Foundation to provide the Fort Dodge Animal Health Legacy Scholarship Program.
Rick DeLuca is the Chief Operating Officer of Fort Dodge Animal Health. He says the Fort Dodge Legacy Scholarship is one way his company can contribute to the long-term health of the cattle industry.
Well, there's a great opportunity in the livestock sector which offers challenging careers where large animal veterinarians can make a difference. Fort Dodge Animal Health is committed in this effort in providing innovative products and services to help foster this partnership. An example of that and our commitment is the Fort Dodge Animal Health Legacy Scholarship Program.
Both students and professors at K-State agree motivation in the form of a scholarship would help students considering a career in large animal medicine.
The cost of higher education is increasing and veterinary schools are no different, so scholarships are a good way to help students make it through school. The important thing is it also illustrates that there's a need in this area of food animal medicine. So scholarships like the one that Fort Dodge provided are valuable for the students and also valuable for as they get out of school in helping decrease the amount of loans that they have to pay back.
Ultimately, the time and money spent to earn a degree in veterinary medicine leads to a fulfilling career with plenty of options.
The beauty of the large animal profession, large animal veterinary profession, is there's a lot of variety, and of that each person can get some of their personal career satisfaction in different areas. The relationship between the veterinarian and the cattle producer is a very important aspect of what we do in practice. We want to help them achieve their goals on the farm. We want to help the producer be able to make money economically and care for their cattle in the best ways possible.
There's always going to be opportunities wherever you go for large animals just because there's a lack of large animal veterinarians, and you'll put in some long days and hard work, but it's definitely you're gonna feel like you did a good job when you go home at night. You work hard and you put in a good day and it's enjoyable.
I would say someone considering wanting to be a large animal practitioner, if they really want to, they should just follow their dreams and do it.
Fort Dodge Animal Health, along with the National Cattlemen's Foundation, will be providing 5 legacy scholarships. 3 scholarships will be for veterinary school students who have chosen an emphasis in beef production. 2 scholarships will be for undergrad students enrolled in an animal science program. Our viewers can help. Just fax qualifying Fort Dodge Animal Health invoices to 1-800-330-4720. The company will donate 3% of sales to the Fort Dodge Animal Health Legacy Scholarship for a total of $25,000. Head to our website at cattlemen2cattlemen.org for more information. We'll be right back.
People have different views of what they think's attractive. And while a SelectVac tag doesn't do anything for this dog, it certainly makes calves more attractive to buyers. In fact, SelectVac calves attract up to $29 more per head. No wonder millions of calves have already been enrolled. Ask your veterinarian or animal health supplier about SelectVac, the premier branded preconditioning program, and raise more attractive calves.
Thanks for joining us for this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Don't forget to check us out on the web at cattlemen2cattlemen.org, and we'll be back with another edition next week at 8:30 Eastern Time right here on RFD TV.